Going. You are live. We're live. That's good. Better be alive than dead, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's depending on who you ask, what day.
Right. So, how's it been, man? How's the feeding the bonfire going?
It's going all right. Chowing down. I did something kind of funny today. So I stepped on my scale and it had said that I gained like 3 pounds, and I was like, wow, it's kind of unusual. What happened? Then I was looking, I was like, oh wait, I stepped on the scale backwards, because it's just a square, right? And so I had it flipped the wrong way, and then I stepped on it, and yeah, apparently if you're not facing the right way, you'll get a different result, which I think is kind of interesting.
Oh,
The sensors in the front and the back must be different in some way. So yeah, so then I flipped it around and I'd gained like, I don't know, a half pound or a point 10 of a pound or something like that. Yeah. But I don't really trust those results since I already messed it up stepping on it backwards. So I don't know. I'm not losing. I'm starting to become a little bit disgruntled, just because um, I'm definitely hungry. I'm eating,
uh-huh.
but my weight's not changing. I'm not getting like I don't feel like I'm burning excess or anything like that, which
Uh-huh.
could be that I'm just not active enough. Which could be um, totally true because my job is very sedentary. It's been cold, so I have been going on less walks and things of that nature.
Mm.
Today I got in, let's see. I mean, I didn't take like an official walk, but I went to the mall, been busy. Today I got 8,000 steps in so far. That'll probably be about it for today. I'm at kind of at the end of my day, which I know isn't like a huge thing, but when it's more light out, I typically take more walks and things like that. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll probably keep on doing what I'm doing for the moment. Still, this next week for sure. Probably the next couple of weeks. But like I keep teasing about messing with protein to fat ratios a little more because I am tracking. Well, I've kind of gone off the rails on tracking as well. I've been busy with like other stuff, but um,
So you
I'm
haven't been recording what you've been eating?
I've been putting stuff on the scale, but I keep forgetting to punch it in the Fitbit. You
Gotcha.
know,
So you don't
so
really know how close you're eating to how much energy you're eating versus burning at the moment.
yeah, I mean, I know my to the dreaded calories in, calories out. Except for maybe today, I'm probably taking in more calories than I'm burning regularly. Um, but
But
one of my goals was to kind of squash that.
mm,
I was hoping I would be able to eat more than the calories and lose. That was kind of what I was trying to do to kind
mm,
of squash that. It doesn't seem to be working, either I'm just not consistent enough. Another thing could be just too much cheese, throwing in too many extras like Zevia, the sodas.
mm,
That could be messing with my insulin and responses and things of
sure,
that nature as
sure.
well. And so, yeah, I mean, there are certain um, I really like my cheese though. That's for sure. The Zevia, um, that's fun. They're delicious. A little more than just sparkling water. Um, so yeah, so there's definitely some there. I could eat
All right.
cleaner.
Well,
I could go.
let's break it down. How many Zevia sodas are you drinking in a week?
Oh, maybe 5 or 7.
And then how much cheese and what kind of cheese?
Well, cheddar cheese. On my Instagram, I posted that like 3 pound bag of like Colby cheddar or something like that. It's like Colby Jack.
All those
And it's,
cubes. That's
yeah,
right.
it's in cubes. And so every time I'm like a little bit hungry, I grab like 3 cubes. And I'll just munch on them. Or when I'm making food, I'll grab like 3 cubes and munch on them. Um, so
Interesting.
yeah, so I mean, I don't know how long it takes. It takes me a good 3 weeks to go through a brick of cheddar, you know. or so. So I don't know if that's high cheese or low cheese, but you've got to understand, people, please forgive me. I went 6 years without dairy before carnivore. And I went the majority of my first year at carnivore also without cheese. So
So what you're saying is you really enjoy the cheese.
I do really enjoy the cheese. It's true.
And
Yeah.
do you take in any other dairy other than that cheese?
No, I'm not doing any liquid dairy at this time.
Mm.
I mean, there was here and there. I've had some sour cream here and there. I've had
Dollop of sour cream here and there.
what is it? Cream cheese with the pork rinds. I did that for like a week, but the taste got old really quick, actually.
Yeah.
I didn't enjoy it and that much after. I feel like I did it and that was fine. Ice cream, I haven't even been having that because it's cold. So yeah, it's just been the cheese, really.
Well, I don't know. The only way to find out, right, is to make some changes and see what happens, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. And so, yeah, dropping some cheese. I don't know. Dropping cheese also makes it easier to drop the fat. Also, so if I'm going to drop the fat,
Right.
probably also means have to drop the cheese, and enjoy my food a more proper way, I suppose. But it's not, I guess what's kind of upsetting is that, and again, it's just been the last 2.5, 3 weeks, is that I don't seem to be losing and I don't seem to be gaining either. Like, I feel like I'd even be happy to gain, but I'm like just staying, which I guess might make sense. My activity level, what I'm eating and everything is totally leveled out. So it's probably, that's probably just accurate, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, do you think you're getting any stronger? I mean, you're doing your X3 bar regularly, right? What, daily, right?
Yeah. Except for 1 day a week I take off.
Mhm.
Yeah. That continues to improve and get better. I did some heavy lifting today and that was no issue. So yeah, I mean, I'm still feeling stronger, still feeling more built than before we started this challenge, before X3, etc. Especially not having to go and kill myself in the gym or anything like that.
Yeah,
And so,
that's more important than anything the scale says. I mean, unless you're like elite level bodybuilder or something on a really well controlled, day to day scale doesn't really mean a lot. It's kind of, we've said this before, it's kind of the trend over time. It's the only thing you can really track that has any meaning, right?
yeah, exactly. Trend over time is, and I'm happy eating this much. Like I said, there's so many advantages. I like the not watching the clock of when I stopped eating, when I need to eat. I like just being able to grab those 3 cubes of cheese and not feel guilty about it, or like I shouldn't, or like I'm breaking rules and stuff like that. I do like the freedom of building the bonfire, especially for me, because I do like to eat. But
So, how frequently would you say you're eating on an average day now?
I'm still about 4 times a day with snacks, I would say.
Uh huh. So, 4 times a day includes the snacks, or four meals plus snacks?
So 4 times a day includes snacks. So a couple of snacks
And a couple.
and a couple of meals. Yeah. I'm still doing only like 2 big meals, more or less. Today I really didn't snack at all though. Today, well, it's just because of what I did today. So today, uh, I I wanted to go out, so I just went out and I got Five Guys, like a triple patty burger with cheese and bacon and grilled mushrooms and pickles. So take away my carnivore card for grilled mushrooms and pickles, I guess.
Mushrooms and pickles.
Mushrooms and pickles. That's
You're
right.
really, really pushing the envelope, my friend.
I'm practically Paul Saladino at this point, right?
No. You should just get a hamburger and dump a bunch of honey and bees on it.
And then, I came home and I was busy. So I just ate, and I knew we were going to do this and I was already feeling hungry. So I ate some what is it, the strip steak or whatever it is. Um, the some shrimp that I made earlier this morning,
Mm.
and then some chicken that I had made like a couple days ago. So, but it was a good like pound and a quarter, maybe even a pound and a half of food. Um, yeah, so that'll probably be it for tonight. And I ate that at around 5:30.
So you got any plans to get more meticulous about logging?
Yeah, I mean, I just gotta make sure I do it when I do it I'm weighing the stuff still. I'm just not logging it. I've been forgetting to log it into Fitbit. I think what also threw me off is, for those that don't know, I broke my Fitbit, so I went like 6 days without it as well. So I kind of like
Did you feel naked without your friend?
I did feel naked without the Fitbit. Yeah. But Fitbit, hey, to their credit, sent me a new one for free. So hooray. Good for that. Um, but yeah, and so I kind of fell out of the habit. Plus, yeah, there's just been a lot of, so that's a big thing, right? Is you can have all the plans, you can plan out your diet, but life happens, right? And
For
so
sure.
we get busy. We've, sometimes you don't have that extra minute to log, or I'm like, oh, I'll log this later and completely forget about it, in the next 20 minutes. Like if I don't log right away, or at least right when I'm sitting down to eat, like it won't happen. And then you go to log and you end up on Facebook or Instagram and you just get lost. And then,
Yeah,
yeah,
social media.
right. And so, but yeah, I did have a good habit. I could build the habit again. Um, anyway, that's kind of how it is. So week, what is this month? What are we, end of month one, I guess, check
Yeah.
in. So end
Yep.
of month one, dazed and confused. That's where I'm at right now.
Yeah, well, I could tell like we were kind of monkeying around with exactly how we were going to do this for almost a month beforehand, and it was still like we still had some questions about what was the best way to do this or that, or what was going to actually be meaningful, or what have you, you know. So we kind of threw everything at it, to see what so we could see what shakes out. So we haven't really. I know I missed logging a couple days too, or not entirely, but there's a couple of days when I know I forgot stuff. And then I've been making jerky. My friend getting some jerky, and I've been like trying to figure out how to log that because it's like you go online, it's like most of the jerky that you see data for is all like brand stuff,
Mm.
and I don't add any sugar or anything, so it's like is a piece, let's say it's London broil, and you all you do is put some salt on it and dried it. Is it the same as like eating a piece of raw London broil?
No idea.
Probably something very similar, you know. But then I was like, I was having to make that up because it didn't really exist, right? And I'm not eating some teriyaki something something with a bunch of sugar in it, you know. So, and then the numbers I saw for the other jerkies were all over the place. It was like it's pretty wild. So, and I'm sure that kind of depends because certain places use certain cuts of meat with certain amounts of fat, and then of course all the other ingredients they add. So yeah, because I started making jerky because I realized, well, this is like one of the most convenient foods. You know, it's like get some and make some jerky, and then I have some at work, I have it at home. Whatever. It's convenient. I should probably put a stash in the car so when I'm sitting in traffic, you know, can get some energy pellets, level up.
You know what might work? You
Well,
should look up carnivore crisps.
yeah, if I
Maybe
was,
their data would be more similar to what you're doing.
yeah, that's not a bad idea. Let's check.
Or what's the other one? There's Carnivore Crisp. There's a few companies out there now.
Oh yeah,
There's Epic. They make one. I know. Um,
I think Carnivore Crisp they sell like one cut or another in a bag too. It's not like random cuts of meat,
Right.
right? Yeah, so that might be helpful right there. So have to do that. So, when was the last time you went meat shopping?
A week ago, 2 weeks ago, something like that. I want to say probably a week ago.
So not that recent, not that you don't go that frequently. Was anything missing when you off the shelves when you went?
Not that I was trying to buy that day. It was more cleared out during Christmas
Mm,
and New Year's, but I think that's because people were having parties and things like that. At
mm,
least over here, I think with things returning back to normal, you got to understand where I'm living, it's a smaller population. There are a few vegetarians and vegans. So thank you. They leave more meat for me. It is a college town. So I'm
oh,
sure
yeah.
there's, the people, unfortunately, that's where people are vegan or vegetarian, right? Is typically high school, college. Um, so yeah, there seems to be enough meat, plenty of meat, at least what I'm looking for typically, and then nothing vacant or nothing missing at like the organic market or anything like that either. I got eggs on sale. I got what is the company's called like Bluefield or something like that. They had the eggs on manager special. They're soy free, free range, supposedly raised under blue skies. Again, I don't know, but the regular price is like $3.49 a carton, and they had them for $1.99 a carton. So I bought four like cases of eggs of those eggs.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's like might as well stock up. So there you go. But nothing really missing, not for me.
Good. Yeah, I don't know. Stuff come and goes. One of the stores I shop at, I was talking to the employees, and they said, "Well, some of the things aren't in stock because they were changing suppliers. They were literally changing
Mm.
brands. So that there's not necessarily all about shortages, but you know, transitions from one supplier to another. So it's hard to tell. But I have noticed you go to the meat case, and there's less of a selection of cuts. But you think about it, why would certain parts of the animal be missing, but other parts be there? It's kind of got me stumped.
Because they're
But
lab grown cows. Remember the like chicken, the KFC chicken conspiracy theory? Do you
but
remember that?
no, are they just growing certain parts of chickens?
Well, like apparently they were growing chickens like without eyes and without beaks, I
Oh,
guess. And it was just growing like things of meat. And so again, that's a KFC conspiracy theory. I don't remember if it ever turned out to be like a half truth, totally true, or an outright lie. Um, but we're not trying to spread misinformation here, just so people know. But there was, I remember this was like early 2000s or something like
huh.
that. The KFC conspiracy was,
Yeah.
yeah. You never heard about that, Tom?
No, I don't. I don't remember that one, but who knows? Maybe I heard about it 20 years ago and forgot. I don't. I don't know. So, yeah, I'm not surprised. I mean, if with all the chicken nuggets that McDonald's or something sells, I'm sure if they could just grow the nuggets, save a lot of hassle, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
Wouldn't
not
it
even
be
really
cheaper
sure where
to
is
put
the nugget on a chicken.
the old Super Size Me? You saw that movie, right? I'm sure
Yeah,
you did.
is that Spurlock?
I can't believe after all these years it was just plant-based propaganda. I mean, I guess I can, but like that's how I mean, I know it goes back further than that, but the way that movie was presented was like
Right? Was like it.
anti-fast food movie
It's like there
until
was a
the
glitch.
very end where it's like he's going like all vegan or something like that, and he's normally vegan if I remember right.
Well, and I think that he said he was eating a certain amount of this, certain amount of that, and these are the results. What happened to my blood work and blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, he never actually released the meal lists or something. He refused to say what he actually ate. He just said I ate so much of this and so much of that, and or I ate so many calories and it was this much fat or protein or whatever. But he never actually release the items he ate or something, and he refused to do it.
Like
That's
the
a little,
items he was ordering from McDonald's, you
like the
mean?
totals for each day.
Oh, like each day. I thought they said in the movie. I mean, maybe
There was some information that he refused to release.
oh,
So yeah, it got a little weird. So,
wow.
but yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody thinks you're going to be healthy if you're eating hamburgers and French fries and drinking Coke and every day. That's, I think most of us, we used to view that as like something you could do once in a while, no big deal.
Or,
But then,
broke college student, you could get two double cheeseburgers. They were legitimately called double cheeseburgers. They weren't the stupid McDouble in it back then. And then,
stupid McDouble.
yeah. And then, well, because never mind. Don't put me down that hole about the McDouble versus the double cheeseburger.
Uh,
Anyway, so you could get two double cheeseburgers, a small fry, and a small Coke for under $5.
mm,
That was a college meal. That would,
it's like a meal deal.
yeah. You give yourself a soda lid of ketchup, and there you go. You're off to the races. I was off to somewhere anyway.
Oh yeah, Alien Drone Service just mentioned it was in the Fathead movie that they analyzed the Super Size Me pretty well. I think that's what I'm remembering. So yeah, he pointed out that there's critical stuff missing in that movie. So there you go. If you got nothing better to do, watch Super Size Me and Fathead. Get both sides of the story, right?
Yeah, I don't think I've actually seen Fathead yet. I've seen
Oh
the
really?
other one, but I haven't seen Fathead, I don't think.
I do believe Fathead is uh Fathead. It's like on Amazon Prime, and I think it's on Netflix.
Oh.
It might even be just on YouTube. Some of these things you could just watch on YouTube. So, and a lot of times too, you can, if you don't, if it's not on your streaming service, and you can watch it online on like YouTube or one of the other ones, and it only costs you $1 or two, a couple dollars to watch it. So, if you're into it, it seems like it's worth it to me, right?
So what does Fathead go into then? I'm just curious.
It's kind of a rebuttal to Supersize Me.
Oh, really? Like, is
Yeah.
it just kind of more of a buster of the fat and cholesterol myth?
Um, I I'm pretty sure he spent a good deal of time picking apart the actual movie.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I have. You know what? We could watch it and do a. I'll pull up the description, but we could watch it again and then do a video on it.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I mean, the movies are out there, and it's pretty cool because they're getting picked up on the main platforms. Because that's how I got introduced to being plant based, was watching Super Size Me. I mean, not in like the same year or anything, but watching Super Size Me, Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead, and Knives. Was it Forks Over Knives? Yeah, at different times I'd watched all three of those, and it's all propaganda or
Yeah,
whatever now, but that does influence you, especially when you're in your teens and your early 20s and things like that. Sadly, I mean,
Fathead is on YouTube. You can watch it, and it is um it is a documentary about Supersize Me.
oh, I'll have to check that out. I'm very interested because I've watched Super Size Me a bunch of times. I don't know why. I think because I loved McDonald's, and it
Uh,
didn't. I mean, at that time, it didn't make me change anything. I mean, I was a skinny kid for the most part, and so with that being so, I didn't care or know about cholesterol or anything. It was just like, oh, okay. But what was funny is that part where that guy named Big Mac, apparently he would eat like 3 Big Macs a day, and he was like a tall, healthy, skinny guy. you know so what I took from the movie was like, okay, just don't eat anything else, only eat the Big Mac. That's kind of what I did for a while.
yeah, well, I mean, if eating the Big Mac excludes the French fries and the Coke, from the traditional meal,
Right.
then yeah, it's probably a better deal. And some people will probably do fine on that. So
I think he even got married in a McDonald's or something like that. The guy was so cool.
married in McDonald's.
Yeah. His girlfriend was fat though. I remember that.
Yeah, alien drone service saying that the fathead fast food diet was sort of low carb, basically the zone diet, so moderately low carb. Yeah. Yeah, so maybe we should make ourselves watch all these movies, do videos on them again. I recommend them to people all the time, but I think I did one on the magic pill a long time ago, but might be fun to bring that back. Do fathead, and we can do one on super size me. I mean, we can pick that one apart pretty easy. So
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It's been quite a while since I've seen it, so I'd like to see it with new eyes. It'd
yeah,
be really interesting.
watch Sporks over Chives again.
I don't know if I could get through that one anymore. What are we gonna watch next? Cowspiracy, Earthlings.
Yeah, I did. I think it was Earthlings. I did. I don't know. Some vegans were. I think it was on YouTube. They were posting on one of my videos. So, um, they're like, "I bet you can't watch this all the way through," and I'm like, "Well, yeah." So I watched it and I did a video about it. So, and then they stopped bothering me. So,
I have a sister that when that movie came out or when she saw it, whichever, she started calling it Cowschwitz.
Cowshit, nice. Woo! I'm not going there.
That's with a C censors. It's with the C. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching that Joe Rogan with Jordan Peterson the other day, and Jordan Peterson was talking about Temple Grandin, and he couldn't remember her name, and it was
Oh
killing
yeah.
me. It's killing me.
I knew that would kill
If
you.
people don't know, I got to interview Temple Grandin, so you can watch the
Yeah.
video interview I did with her about a year ago, a little over a year
I
ago.
think it's like 2 years ago now, Tom.
Is it? Could it be that
Yeah.
long ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope she's doing all right. I mean, she's getting up there. What is she, like 82, 83, something like that
I
now?
don't know. I don't think she's that old.
No?
I mean, when I was talking to her, she was still teaching. So, in fact, when
Oh.
I was talking to her, students were coming in her office while we were while we were recording. So, yeah, no, she's a nice lady, So she's got a lot to say about the life of a cow. That's for sure.
Right. Speaking of the life of the cow, still working on getting my own cow. Still
Yeah,
exciting. I just talked to my aunt about it. We talked about it again. She's still down. Just waiting to see the price of the head of cattle and all that stuff come more April, May.
man,
So,
just get a truck. There's cows walking around here all you gotta do is drive it 2,000 miles.
hey, they're around here all the time too.
Well,
But the people on the property here have more guns. So
just throw a saddle on one and ride it over to your aunt's farm. You'll be fine.
there you go.
Get one that looks the tastiest.
Yeah, there you go.
Be a cowboy. So you wanna pick on Dr. Greger a little bit?
That sounds like fun.
So everybody knows Dr. Greger has got his daily dozen. So let's pound away at Dr. Greger's daily dozen. If I can
But
fit
we
it
can't
around,
pound too hard. We might break his bones.
yeah, he's a fragile, fragile little man. So. All right. So first off, beans servings 3 per day. How many servings of beans are you eating, Justin?
None. I'm failing. I'm failing the bean test.
Are beans good food for human beings?
I don't think so. They have a lot of lectins.
Yeah, they have.
Many beans. What?
Yeah, they do have things like
Yeah.
lectins, and which is a plant protein. It's highly suspicious, and oxalates, stuff like that, right?
Yeah. And, they highly need to be detoxified.
Right. And let's just face it. I mean, you eat beans, you're gonna be gassy, and I don't think that's actually a good thing.
No, it's your stomach telling you that it's in distress.
Yeah, it's just beans sitting in your colon, fermenting, creating methane. So yeah, I don't think that's a good sign. I mean, it's better than starving, right?
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, you're kind of stuck in a dichotomy if it's eat beans or starve.
Right. Yep. So better than starving, but less than optimal, as Bart might say. The consumption of beans by humans is contraindicated.
Indicated.
All right. So how about fruits? Three per day. One medium fruit, quarter cup dried fruit. What do you think? Fresh fruit, dried fruit, any fruit?
I haven't done fruit in a while now. The last time I did fruit, I got a pretty bad migraine. I had like, no, not the last time, but a few times before that, I had 2 squares of cantaloupe, which are my favorite, and 3 grapes. And the next day, I was totally wrecked. Um, and then cantaloupe just I used to love cantaloupe as a kid and a teen and before carnivore and everything. Cantaloupe is my absolute favorite fruit. Um, but I just can't. It wrecks me from top to bottom. It's one of the few things actually that eating off carnivore that actually hurts my stomach. And I don't really know why. Because you'd think it's not it's not like eating broccoli or celery, right? It's not that fibrous, but maybe it is. Um, Cantaloupe hurts, um, and watermelon causes migraines, and yeah, grapes are also not great. So I've thrown the occasional fruit my way, and it only causes pain. So I avoid fruits whenever I can.
Yeah, I don't think there's hardly any indication that pre-humans and ancient humans had hardly any fruit to eat. So it doesn't surprise me that we're not well adapted to eating fruit. And I mean, the fruit that was available. I mean, the modern watermelon and cantaloupe, they just didn't exist, right? That's leads back to my favorite question, and it's like, go to your produce section if you think we're supposed to eat these things. Pick out anything in the produce section of any store and then look it up and see how long we've been eating it. And there's absolutely no mechanism for us to adapt to eating these things within the short period of time that they've been available. So we may have been able to get some berries or grapes or, but like things like even like apples are tiny little sour things that we probably wouldn't have eaten. I mean, you have to be pretty hungry to choke that stuff down. Yes. Uh, Alien Drone Services mentioning Ray Pete and his thing about sweet fruits. But again, there was no Florida orange juice or California orange juice for that matter. So that's all new foods, and I don't think we're adapted. And I think there's too much sugar and all kinds of plant pesticides and stuff. So I think that's why so many people do better when they ditch them. So the next thing up is greens, 2 servings per day, 1 cup raw, one half cup cooked. And oddly enough, or not so oddly, the leaves remind me of kale.
They do.
Kale, the kale that was originally intended to be a crop for cattle and stuff like that, and they couldn't eat it, so they decided to sell it to human beings. And now they dry it out and put some seasoning on it, call it kale chips, and hope you don't notice. I did hear that iguanas really like kale, so
Yeah, iguanas do like kale.
iguanas can eat kale, but you should probably just feed the iguana some kale and then eat the iguana.
Hey, it's not. Let's leave the reptiles alone, okay?
Well, I heard it was so cold in Florida. Was it Florida or Texas recently? The iguanas were just falling out of the trees. So,
Really? Oh, maybe that
yeah.
was Texas.
So I'm just saying, if a big fat iguana falls in your lap, you know.
I mean, I'm not absolutely opposed to eating iguana, but you know,
Well, I
I
know. I
do, I
mean,
do
for
like me
pet,
my reptiles.
I understand. You got a soft spot for them reptiles. All right, flaxseed. Let's go on to flaxseed. 1 tablespoon ground per day. Well,
I wanted to back up for a second. I'm
Uh-huh.
curious why it's what is it, 1 cup raw and a half cup cooked.
Well, I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
because a lot of vegetables you got to cook them to get unlock the nutrients and make them
Uh,
bioavailable. So that's probably what the deal is. I know
well
when it
then, I mean, but if by that logic, shouldn't you have more cooked and less raw?
I think it just depends on the nutrient.
Uh,
So like some nutrients actually break down under heat, right?
right.
And then some aren't actually bioavailable until you release them somehow. So
So, I mean, are the greens really that different, though? I mean, I know these questions kind of don't matter, but I'm really trying to steel man this argument here, uh,
you're supposed
because
to what it?
it's what
You're trying to what the argument?
steel man?
Oh, steel man. Gotcha.
Yeah, Man of Steel, like Superman.
All right. I'll
Build
go
up the strongest argument that you can
go
for the
forward
opposing side.
go forward with it, my metallic friend.
Yeah, and so um, okay, because it's under greens, because vegetables is a separate category on here. We haven't gotten there yet, but you have vegetables. And so when I think of greens, yeah, kale. I mean, I'm guessing broccoli. I don't know if cabbage is a green. Um, lettuce,
Mustard greens,
mustard greens, collard. Um, what's that one? Chalk choy. What's it called?
bok choy.
Bok choy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a cabbage.
Yeah,
Yeah,
bok choy is really good. I miss bok choy. That was good.
really.
Uh, yeah, that's probably my favorite collard green. I think probably bok choy. Anyway, so it's like, which one of those should I be eating raw, and which one should be my half cup of? Because trying to eat a bok choy raw is nigh impossible.
Mm.
Celery you can do raw. Is that a green? Kale, yeah, you could do raw or cooked. I've done both.
I mean,
Uh,
I suppose with the celery, if you're going to eat the leaves, then it's a green. If you're eating the stalk, then it's probably some other category. I'm not sure.
well, they do have cruciferous up there, so I guess the broccoli
Cruciferous?
cruciferous.
Cruciferous? All right. Cruciferous vegetables are, yeah. All right. So why don't we circle back when we hit the other vegetables then?
All
So
right.
let's do flaxseed real quick. Flaxseed, I'm just gonna say no. I mean, number one, what they're trying to do is get a source of omega-3 fatty acid, right? From a
Right.
seed that we probably would have never encountered in the wild. Or if we did, it would have been just a few human beings in one area that was, that it was available to. And I don't know, man. Are you going to eat a flaxseed? This is the same thing. Flaxseed oil, that's what they make linoleum out of, right? It's a real tough oil. But I don't even know that the omega-3 in it is all that bioavailable. So you probably need quite a bit of it. Whereas you could just eat an egg yolk or some fish or something and get plenty of omega-3, right? But a lot of people are deficient in omega-3 if they don't eat meat. So
Right. I used to throw flaxseed in my vegan shakes in the morning.
I'm sure you did. Well, I tried making, when I was keto, I tried making fake bread out of flaxseed. And I was like, ugh. I think I had to buy the seed and grind it and everything. And I don't know. I mean, it was okay, but it's like, it's a lot of work for what now, you know? So yeah, it's kind of soured me on the whole thing. And of course, if you eat the whole seed, it's probably just going to go through you. So you got to grind it fresh, or that oil that's in it's going to start oxidizing really fast, as seed oils do. So I don't know. It seems like you're trying to replace real food with some sort of poor plant substitute. So what about grains? 1 cup hot cereal, 1 slice of bread.
It's pretty low on the grains. I've got to give them that. I mean, at least it's better than the food pyramid where it's 6 to 8 servings of grain. So, yeah, I can see why people would lose weight, and get a little better cutting down on the grains that much. every morning. I had the what is it? The Quaker oat with the apple chunks in it and the cinnamon. It was bomb. We used to
Oh
have
yeah.
that every morning.
Insert your favorite Wilford Brimley joke here.
Or I
Diabetes.
didn't get into it till later, but oatmeal with peanut butter. I know it's a favorite
Yeah.
among people, because
More
it's sweet.
lectins. More soybean oil.
Right. Wait, why would there be soybean oil in the peanut butter?
Most peanut butter has soybean oil in it.
Really? That's
Yeah.
like Jiffy?
Yeah.
Is that why the crunchy is better than the super smooth or whatever?
Don't know. Could be.
I
But yeah, a lot of
always
the
thought those people were weird that like the crunchy peanut butter. I always like to be able to spread it, very spreadable. I don't know.
Yep. I don't know. Rhonda would probably take you to task on that.
She likes the crunchy peanut butter.
Extra crunchy.
Extra crunchy. So
Yeah,
she
like
should.
a new extra crunchy GIF right now. Yeah.
So they're just like they're just crunching the peanuts and just throwing it in the container and shipping it
Yeah,
off
they just
to
glue
the
some
store.
peanuts together with some soybean oil. That's all it is.
Oh
So yeah,
man.
and it's interesting. It's a half a cup of hot cereal because I'm wondering how human beings evolved pre-pottery. How are they heating up their cereal, right? And then before we had fire, how are we heating it up, right? If this is a natural part of our diet, how would we have adapted to eating hot cereal in the time that we've been able to use fire and or make pottery, right?
Yeah, I mean it's kind of silly. And again, I'm not quite sure the big difference between the hot and the raw or whatever or cold,
Cold.
whatever.
Well, just go,
Like,
just
couldn't it be cooked? Like, could you throw, I don't know, some like is bread? Isn't that a hot isn't that a hot grain?
well, it's been baked, sure. And
Right.
again, where would we get bread before
But
we had
isn't
fire?
bread also in the other section?
I don't know. It's in grains. I didn't read all the sections yet.
Well, no, in the grains though, because it says 1 cup hot, right?
Cereal and one slice of bread.
One slice of bread. But bread is not cold oats. It's not a cold grain. It's a cooked grain as well.
Yes.
So basically, what he's recommending is cooked grains, 2 servings. That's
Yeah.
why I'm like, why is he putting the whole cup thing in there? What's the point
Well,
of that?
good luck eating raw oats or raw wheat or something, right? Can't really do it. I mean, you can
Right.
swallow it, I guess, but yeah, I don't. I mean, oats. If you ever seen oats, once they're been harvested, they're hard as a rock.
So no
Like
one's
rock hard.
having raw grains, right? Unless you're a
Not too
horse.
many. I mean, there's all those ones that are kind of like right between a grain and a seed, But I mean, like, you're not gonna be munching on raw rice, right? Once it's
Right.
dried, it's too hard, you know.
So could
So
you have a cup of rice in the morning, a hot cup of rice, and then a piece of bread later? Would that satisfy the requirement? And what's the asterisk is? Like, is the 3 asterisks on the grains more important or less important? You see the red little X's or whatever those
they're
are?
check marks. So I think that's the servings per day. So like this says 3 servings per day. So it's like half a cup of cereal and a slice of bread. So you multiply that times 3.
Oh, okay. So that's actually 6 servings of grains a day.
Yeah.
So not that great compared to the food pyramid.
Uh-huh. Let's go on to berries. Let's go
I
up
thought we
to
already did berries.
you did berries?
No, did we not?
No.
All right.
I mean, I kind of mentioned that we might encounter them when we were talking about fruit earlier,
Yeah.
but it's a separate category for whatever reason. I guess we should have zigzagged back and forth rather than going down the list. But hey, it's just a little entertainment at Dr. Gregor's expense, right?
And I get to say kerfufflus some more.
Yes, you do. One more time. So berries, well, yeah, we would have encountered them seasonally, perhaps. And we would have had to, fight the bees and the ants and the bears. Bears like berries. Can't
I
blame them.
thought bears like honey, like Winnie the Pooh. And
They do, but they eat a lot of berries. Actually, coyotes eat berries too for some reason. If you're ever out walking around and you see a coyote scat, it's not uncommon to see like berries in it. So as do raccoons and stuff. They'll pick berries. So and the birds love berries, right? You always see birds
right.
messing up the berries. They don't even eat the whole thing. These bastards. So all right, get on to cruciferous vegetables.
Crucephalus.
Cruciferous.
Uh, I feel like I'm saying it different every time now.
You are.
Uh, so what's the servings there? I can't see.
It says one per day, half a cup chop, one
Okay.
tablespoon horseradish. I think the horseradish is a
Oddly
supplement.
specific.
Yeah. Well, again, I think he's choosing supplements because of nutrient deficiencies, right?
uh,
So it's just like the flaxseed. Why would you go get some flaxseed and chew on it and tell me what it's like, And a tablespoon at that. It's in here because this diet is deficient, so they're throwing all these weird things in like horseradish and flaxseed. They would just make a vegan horseradish flaxseed spread,
there you go.
and then we can corner the market on natural supplements for vegans.
Aha, we got it. We'll exploit them and fund the. There you go. That's the ultimate scheme: creating a vegan supplement to fund a carnivore channel. It's genius.
Dastardly. That way we
Amazing.
can open our bologna company.
There you go. So I'm guessing that's the broccoli. I don't know if celery counts in there or not.
It's
Uh,
it's primarily broccoli and cauliflower, right?
Cauliflower. Right. I don't remember liking cauliflower. Oh, right. That's
No,
the white broccoli.
it's the white broccoli. Although there is a white broccoli, right?
There is? I don't remember white broccoli.
I've seen broccoli that was like all different colors. So
Oh, yeah. I've seen purple broccoli, orange
yeah,
broccoli.
yeah.
I'm not remember ever white. Maybe I saw it and was like, oh, that's in the wrong spot.
It looks like
That's cauliflower.
It looks a lot like cauliflower.
Cauliflower is just terrible. There's two vegetables that are truly just awful. Like even when I was more plant-based, like I wouldn't touch them. And that was cauliflower and Brussels sprouts. Like those are comedy vegetables. Like everyone laughs at them.
Right. Well, and if you encountered it in nature in its natural form, why in God's name would you eat it? Right? You'd have to be really hungry.
It looks like a
Anyway,
brain.
yeah, it looks like a brain, and it tastes nothing like a brain. It's very disappointing. There's like no fat in it. So
Oh, I mean, that's not a neck. That's not a specific knock against cauliflower, though. That's pretty much all vegetables. There's no fat in it.
well, and did you ever notice both like broccoli and cauliflower? They have that sulfury kind of smell, especially when you start cooking it. You're like, it smells like garbage. It smells like hot garbage when you're cooking it, like Brussels
I don't know.
sprouts.
I don't. I mean, I don't remember broccoli smelling that bad cooking it. I mean, maybe I was just used to it. I don't remember the smell of sulfur, but you could be right. It's been a long time. Uh,
Well, did you ever cook cauliflower or broccoli and thought it smelled good?
Well, I mean, I think because I'd throw in, sesame oil, you got to throw the olive
Oh,
oil in the pan. Like, who just has a blank pan with nothing and throws broccoli and cauliflower in there? What are you trying to make?
well, I mean, some people cook it and then they put a little seasoning on it later, right? Salt, pepper later, a little butter later, right?
Yeah, I mean, I never did that though. I
Well,
always
it's the
made
thing.
like a stir fry. Typically, is what I would make.
We'll just say hey to T Mach 5. No worries about being
Hey,
late. We were a little late starting. A Royal. Rice is danger. Agreed.
and guess who used to live off rice milk? This guy right here.
Right. And perhaps these people that make the argument that you shouldn't be able to call almond milk because there's no milk in an almond. They would apply the same thing to rice. There's no milk in rice. It's just not there. Right? So
Right.
when was the
It's
last
it's
time you had a horchata?
It's rice juice. It's been quite a while, sadly.
Yeah.
Horchata's good. I actually have a friend that owns the world's tops horchata company.
What?
Yeah, her
I'm sorry.
owned the company. Yeah, and they legit like deliver horchata all over the place.
All over.
Yeah, and I have another friend whose aunt is the well, I'm not going to get into specifics, but very high up in Oatly, the oat milk company.
I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah. My friend's aunt is top, close to top dog for that company.
Perfect person to ask. I just ask them, what do you think when people say that you shouldn't call it milk because it's not actually milk?
I should. I don't know. I might.
Be interesting. Well, maybe we get her to come on for a podcast.
I mean, what's sad, right, is that there's money to be made, and me and you are both not against people making money.
Nope.
But when you're like, I get it. Like a person like that, no matter the evidence that we would show them, essentially, that like, hey, you might be hurting people. It's not all fun and games. You're not making people healthy the way that you think you are. I mean, their finances are tied up in it, right? And so, what incentive do they have to walk away?
Right.
And once you go carnivore, what can you sell?
Think of
You know?
think of the entertainment value if we had somebody on and asked them these questions.
Yeah, no, I get it, but I
It'd be
mean,
amazing.
what I mean, I guess those are bridges we're okay with Birdie.
Yeah, I could live with that.
All right.
All right. Well, so now we're to the vegetable category. It's got 2 check marks. Says 2 servings a day. This is half cup non-leafy vegetables, and we see a little icon for a carrot and a mushroom. Is a mushroom really a vegetable?
Well, I mean, it's a fungus. I don't know.
Yeah.
I had a mushroom today, so I guess I had a serving of vegetable.
What kind of mushroom?
Just white mushrooms.
Gotcha.
When I was gluten free, I used to make portobello burgers. So I would take big portobello mushrooms
Sure.
and
I've had a portobello mushroom burger.
well, I mean, like you got to
You use
listen
it
to
as a
this.
bun.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I thought I was. You totally took away my thunder, Tom. Fine.
No, they sell those in restaurants.
They sell those in restaurants.
Yeah.
What restaurant sold them?
I don't remember, but I've ordered one off the menu before.
Huh. Well,
Long time ago. My life before carnivore, which I try not to think about too much. It's kind of painful.
well, yeah. Anyway, it makes a good bun. A nice big portobello. I mean, that's something I'd be open to doing again. Not like all the time, but I mean, I'd be open to. I'm open to mushrooms. I
What
think.
about like a giant portobello mushroom? Use the mushroom as the bread or the bun, and then we smear some horseradish mixed with ground flaxseed on it.
That sounds terrible. No, I do not want that. I disavow.
Don't knock it till you try it.
Well, I don't like spicy too much.
Damn it, man.
So horseradish.
Should I mention you're half Mexican? I'm just saying.
I guess not.
All right, let's move on to nuts. When was the last time you had a nut?
I want to say a year and a half ago, I was at a friend's house that I hadn't seen in a while, and I was already carnivore, and she had like, the thing of mixed nuts that had like cashews and different stuff in it. So I had some.
Yeah.
Did not feel good later. But that was like the last time. The time before that, the last thing I gave up before going full carnivore was what's the processing called? Crap. When you take the nut and you sprout. I'd sprouted almonds were like my favorite thing, and they were like $18 a pound, and I would buy them by the pound.
Oh, I remember you talking about eating these till you got sick.
Right.
Sitting there watching TV eating
munching. Right, because because it was a step up from, because my big thing, my big carb before carnivore was large bags of Annie's popcorn.
Right.
And then so I went from the Annie's popcorn, transitioned from that to the almonds
Right.
and pistachios. I would eat almonds and pistachios instead. Sounding like a rich boy over here.
Now you're glitchy.
I'm a glitchy boy. Um, and so, yeah, one night I was sitting there, I was eating, and I ate like 3/4 pound of almonds. And the next day, my stomach was in so much pain. I felt so sick.
Yeah.
It was horrid. And I
Well,
saw that I gave it up cold after that.
I just circling back to the whole sprout thing. I know, like, I remember reading like the bags of the bread. Some of the breads are sprouted grains, like Ezekiel and those. So they like they try and make it sound like, oh, this it was suggested in the Bible. It's like religious wisdom that you eat sprouted grains. It's like another
Well, I mean,
side.
I think it does detoxify them to a point. I mean, at least it's supposed to.
Perhaps I understood as though when the grain is sprouting, there's all these nutrients that become abundant. Like
Mm.
certain things are converted into nutrients that the sprout needs, and those are supposedly good for us. It's kind of what I remember. I haven't really looked at it in a while,
Oh
but I've read,
no, that means I was eating almond eggs. How's that?
right,
Like fertilized almond eggs. You think that
right.
sprouted?
Think of what Freely would call that. I agree with T Mach 5. Everything's better with some Tabasco, and certain things are better with horseradish. I still put a dab of horseradish on some pastrami when I eat it. And actually, I'd put some on some prime rib too. So,
Horseradish?
yeah,
Mm,
well, T Mach 5 posted something about it.
right.
He says a lot of nuts are fried in seed oil. Well, a lot of nuts, oddly enough, contain seed oils. 'Cause, well, they're
Yeah,
good.
isn't it? If you just heat up any kind of nut, it's going to release an oil. I would
Right?
imagine at certain temperatures. I mean,
Yeah.
not not trying to be a jerk or anything, but it's like anyway.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think I was at a Super Bowl party or something. There was no meat to eat, and I ate some pistachios or some cashews or peanuts and stuff like that. And it was okay, but I didn't eat that much because it's kind of like, I'll just slip out of here and get some meat somewhere. So, all right, spices serving one per day, quarter teaspoon of turmeric. All right, so here you go, turmeric, because it's got anti-inflammatory properties supposedly, although it doesn't hold up very well in the studies. Uh, Everybody should eat that yellow powder. Now, I granted, I'm a fan of mustard. Mustard's good. Typically, turmeric in the mustard with the mustard seed, but I think it's overblown. And of course, all these plants come packaged with all these plant toxins or uh, pesticides, anti nutrients, all that stuff. So I don't know. It just says spices and it recommends turmeric, which turmeric itself isn't a very good spice. It's got a weird, funky kind of taste.
Yeah. So I'm about to make a bunch of people hate me. Well, maybe not our particular audience, but other audiences. When I think of spices, I think of curry, and I've never been a big fan of curry. It just too many different flavors mixed together. It just the meat tastes tainted. The rice is okay, but I prefer like jasmine rice over like Indian rice. Um, yeah, just never a big curry person. I know people rave about Indian food and Thai food and curry and all that. It's never done it for me, even before carnivore. And what's cool about carnivore is that I have a really good reason to not like curry or, or Thai food. Um, so yeah, spices. I mean, I guess I have the spices. I mean, well, I have spices, but I don't have turmeric. I have garlic and a little bit of onion powder, and I throw seasonings on my food. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I eat foods that are seasoned sometimes too. So
Now,
yeah, I think
I don't think it's a net positive that I'm doing that though. I'm not sure if it's a net negative, but I'm not under any delusion that it's a um uh positive for me. Oh, really? I didn't know that's why curry was invented. Thanks, T Mach 5. Got a good audience here. Smart people. Smart people. I'm glad I'm glad we've not attracted a gaggle of idiots. So that makes me quite happy.
right. Yeah, no, I mean, I like to say a lot of times modern cooking is mostly about making your food taste like something else. And let's face it, if you were prehistoric people and all you could eat was broccoli and cauliflower, you'd be hoping you found some ketchup or some curry or some Tabasco or some horseradish, anything,
Now,
anything.
speaking of ketchup, I've been able to reintroduce one of my favorite loves of a long time,
Mm,
ketchup. I have the primal, what's it called, primal health ketchup on
mm.
the on eggs, and it's
Oh yeah.
bomb. Yeah,
Huh.
some scrambled eggs with some primal ketchup is the absolute bomb.
Huh.
I'm in love with it.
I don't think I've ever put ketchup on eggs.
Yeah, I don't know how it's. I think just because when I was a kid, I put ketchup on everything, and so I've always had ketchup with eggs.
Hmm.
Like the joke was around the house that, oh, Justin, you want some eggs with your ketchup? Ha ha ha. You know.
Right.
Of course,
Is
it was
that
the unhealthy Heinz ketchup, Hunt's or what. Although I was weirdly against Hunt's ketchup. I was a Heinz person, like ideologically devoted to Heinz ketchup. So much so, there's a story, which I don't know why this is a story, where supposedly my family, I don't know if it was my father or my grandmother, had taken a cheaper ketchup, emptied that bottle into an empty bottle of Heinz ketchup to save money to trick me into eating the other ketchup. But I guess I ate it and didn't notice, and they thought it was amazing or something. I don't
uh-huh.
know why that was a thing, but it was. At least they tell me. I don't know.
Well, it's too bad your grandma didn't save that box of Count Chocula or whatever it was that you ate in 2 days that you forgot about and put some cut rate cereal in there.
The chocolate frosted flakes. I will forever. You know what? Right before I die, I think that'll be my last meal. Will be a bowl. I'll make it healthy still. So my last meal will be a bowl of chocolate frosted flakes with raw milk.
What if they don't make chocolate frosted flakes, which I don't think they do anymore?
I guess I'll have to find some. Maybe it'll be like cinnamon toast crunch. That's also pretty
All right, then you're out on your own on that one.
good.
All right, how about 60 ounces of per day of water, green tea, or hibiscus tea? I can tell you right now, the green tea's got the oxalates in it. I don't know about hibiscus tea.
Yeah, I mean it's probably low. If I was going to reintroduce a tea like regularly, it would probably be hibiscus tea. I think it's kind of more dried as like an herb, you know. It's
Is it
probably
just
low
hibiscus
oxalate.
flowers or is it
Yeah,
hibiscus leaves?
it's hibiscus flowers.
Hmm.
Now, if you want to make traditional Mexican hibiscus tea, or yeah, you get the flowers, you make the tea, right, and you put in like a 4 gallon thing or whatever, and you throw in like a half pound of sugar. And it is like the sweetest thing you will ever taste in your life. Delicious, but that's mainly because of the sugar. But
It's,
yeah.
it's basically the stuff you put in a hummingbird feeder,
Basically, what they make is Mexican Kool Aid.
right?
Basically.
Yeah, I know. I got friends that have a brewery and they used to make Jamaica, which is like a
Yeah, yeah,
fermented
Jamaica.
version.
Yeah.
Well, it was on the sweet side. It wasn't super sweet. So yeah. It says like Team Mach 5 says that chamomile has no oxalate at all. That's good to
Oh,
know.
that's good to know.
So yeah, I think one of the things about the seasonings, I think Alien Drone Service makes a point that a lot of those herbs, have other effects on the body, right? I mean, a lot of them were used as medicine So I'm not a big fan of taking medicine if you don't need it. So,
You're
and I
not.
know I mentioned before that like black pepper seems to mess with my digestion. So
Yeah, you got to figure out how it works out for you. Um, you know, I'm tolerating things better, but again, going on 3 years with this, I'm able to eat things that I wasn't able to eat in year one for sure. You
yeah,
know, um, and we hopefully we can get our friend Karina on now, who just resolved her histamine intolerances. So
right.
that's really nice.
Yeah, we should get Karina on. I haven't talked to her as much as I used to, so it'd be good to catch up with her. So, anyways,
Did
should
we go
we?
through all the dozen?
Yeah, we're done.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I do drink like a lot of water, so there we go. I guess I'm covered there.
That's one of the things we would talk about is because I don't log how much water I drink, and I was thinking about doing it just to do it, see what it is, because I really have no idea. So, and I don't, I mean, I'm kind of one of those people's like you really need to just kind of drink to thirst. I'm not like a, I mean, the whole, the whole thing about 8 glasses a day or whatever is kind of doesn't make any sense, and it was based on numbers that came from including food that the water that was in the food, so it's kind of misconstrued. And I clearly need more than 8 glasses someday, and there's some days I don't drink that much, and I don't think I need it. So I don't know. I mean, is it just a bunch of people walking around dehydrated or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think there's a lot of people walking around dehydrated because they're drinking tea and coffee and not water.
Yeah,
Because that we know that dehydrates you and the anti-nutrients and etc. So there's some issue there. I drink a lot of water, but per Angela Statin protocol, it works for me.
right.
Um, and I track, so I drink about 120 ounces a day, um,
That's a
which is
gallon.
this is a gallon.
It's a gallon
Yeah.
or just over 4 liters for our metric friends over there.
So yeah, so that's kind of what's recommended on like snake
Quarter
diet,
liter.
right?
I don't know
Isn't
what,
it a
I don't
gallon?
remember what kind of quantities are recommended. So
I thought it was a gallon. Like drink a
I
gallon of
haven't
water a
I
day or
haven't
something.
checked in with Cole Robinson in a while. So been slipping on my snake technology.
So we should do a snake juice experiment too.
Yeah, we could. I drink a water with electrolytes added to it before I go to the gym most of the time. Sometimes I forget, so
Do you get your bicarbonate in there though?
sometimes I have it.
Oh,
I have it in the
nice.
kitchen. I have all those ingredients in one spot in the kitchen. So when I remember, I mix it all up, start drinking it on the way. So I usually got 15-minute ride to the gym. So they open one closer to me. So
Nice.
I don't go to that one as much. I look, part of it's habit and whatever. What do you call it? Routine. Going to
Mhm.
the other one. I like I like the other one, the old one, a little better. So I got some time to sip my electrolytes.
What I feel like our biggest problem with water is just not having access to natural spring water. I try to buy these whenever I can. So this is lit, lit, not even Lineller source. I think this one's from Wales. So this water's from Wales. It's a sparkling water. I like the sparkling water, but they also have still. This is a natural spring water from Wales, and it's got all the yummy good stuff in it. So I try to grab that whenever I can because I feel like city water. You either get all the chemicals and all the minerals, or you take out the chemicals and don't get any of the minerals. You're kind of stuck in that.
Yeah,
Um,
I buy some purified water. I was looking at it the other day. The label is made by a reverse osmosis specialty company, and they
yeah.
actually did add back in bicarbonate and I think sodium chloride was what they added back in. So
Yeah,
It's a
but
little
also
bit.
what's missing is magnesium. I feel like that's a big one is the missing of magnesium from the water.
Yeah, and a lot of people have made that case that there's not enough magnesium in the water, but it's not entirely clear that we would have had any sort of uniformity as far as minerals. And I know like when we speak to people like um, Austin, she'll talk about how magnesium is a big deal, and so I started wondering, because she helps people that have problems, maybe it's a fairly common problem, but people are having problems, and I kind of wondered if maybe it's because the magnesium they were losing magnesium as much as they weren't getting enough, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, right. So we always, whenever we're talking about health, we have to start with the sad fact. Bill Beck, damn it, I did it. Uh,
Bill Beck, chicken sink. What?
what's his name, Tom? What's the correct name?
Which guy?
Bickman.
Oh, Ben Bickman. Yeah.
Ben Bickman. I always say Bill Bickman for some
Ben
reason.
Bickman. What? Bill Bickman.
So I'm
Ben
reading
Bickman.
Why We Get Sick, and the sad fact is you always have to start with about 88%, 90%, 80%. Pick your number pretty much at this point. Um, are insulin resistant or metabolically uh, have metabolical dysfunction. And so starting from there, um, none of our data on anything is correct, basically.
Right.
And so is it missing a magnesium? Is it just a bad diet? Once you get, which is probably true, once you get your metabolics right, once you detox from the plants and all the other nastiness, um, probably need less magnesium unless you have a certain disorder or maybe something genetic or something like that. Probably not a big deal. But different minerals and things like that, deficiencies can run longer, I think, in some people over others. So they might want to stay on a supplement for a couple of years or something like that before trying to get off it.
Well,
It's really,
magnesium level is the easy thing to test for. So, because I've done it,
Mhm.
and because I asked my doctor about it, and the test was a real simple test. And I, I think the other thing too is remember that electrolytes have effects on each other. It's like you're
Right.
low on one, you compensate with another. So it's hard to say, right? Where do you begin with that? You know,
Yeah, and I think magnesium is a good one, just because it's fairly cheap. You can get like a powder form. There's many different types, and depending on what you're dealing with, one type might work better than another. For instance, magnesium citrate, it's a good colon evacuator for many people. Um,
the most common form is magnesium oxide, which is probably, you know, the worst when it comes to causing diarrhea and the least absorbable, but it's the most common brand. It's the cheapest form of it. So, yeah. So, anyways, it's
right, and you got magnesium thornate, which I've played around with. Didn't notice a huge difference one
thornate.
way.
Really?
Therinate? Is it thornate? What's it called? Therinate?
Thor, thorium is thorium's a radioactive element, so it's probably not thornate.
I know it's
I don't
TH
know.
something. Therinate, thornate, something like that.
I don't know
Um,
that one. There's glycinate, uh,
Magnesium glycinate's my favorite.
citrate,
That's the one I currently take
uh,
regularly.
uh,
Just because it's the only one I found that's easy on my digestion is
one is
magnesium
exactly the
glycinate
same as
powder.
chalk. So if you got some chalk, and I think Epsom salts is a magnesium salt too, right?
Yeah,
But
right.
that'll also have too much of that, and you will be evacuating the plumbing in a hurry. So,
Right. Well, that's better to soak with. That's another thing too, is that you don't necessarily have to drink it. Um,
and again, another mystery of magnesium because soaking in Epsom salts doesn't raise your blood magnesium
right.
levels, but it helps with muscle pain and stuff like that. It's crazy.
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. You can also just get because like I want to say year 1.5 of carnivore, I was
Uh-huh.
getting gnarly leg cramps,
Uh-huh.
like horrible leg cramps. And so I was using a
Yep.
magnesium spray that really helped that. And that seems to help other people. But I was using it too much and the skin started falling off my legs and feet.
Well, when I was a kid, it's like they said, "Oh, if you got leg cramps and you need potassium, so eat some bananas," right? Which, of
Right.
course, we don't eat bananas, but so but it seemed to help, right? And so then
Monkeys
again,
don't even eat bananas.
well, pet monkeys do.
Right. But not monkeys in the wild.
Well, monkeys that live near banana farms.
I suppose.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. Uh, Alien Jones says it's magnesium threonate. So I don't know. It's THREONATE.
Yeah, thornate. Yeah, therinate.
Yeah. So avoid things.
People don't come here to listen to me correctly pronunciate things. People come here to listen to me mispronunciate things.
Yeah, I want to hear you throw everything at it, including the chicken sink
The chicken sink. There you go.
and Bill Dickman.
I
Yeah.
don't know if this means we should keep going or end it.
Well, I don't know. Well, I'm just reading. Oh, he calls it 308. But T Mark 5 says malnutrition is the number one source of illness. And I think we tend to agree with that, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Most illness begins with the wrong diet, right?
right.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. I mean, make up some new words. I mean, I made up epidose, never regretted it. So
I'm constantly making up new words. We
I
have
know
Chrysophilus.
we just don't want to forget them.
Yeah. Well, I don't think we'll be able to forget that one.
I wonder if Bill Dickman would say about Chrysophilus vegetables.
I don't know. I think I think he gave it a thumbs down. Just saying. I haven't finished the book yet.
I wonder if there's any magnesium threonate in Chrysophilus vegetables,
or if it's even bioavailable.
right? Yeah, I know that. That's funny because if you ever listen to the horror stories, things in the past, one of the things that happened in the past is people were drinking this water with thorium in it, and it killed them, made their jaws fall off and all kinds of horrific things, but they felt energized in the drink. So like when they first discovered radioactive materials, and there was an actual like tonic on the market that had thorium in it. There's some rich guy that drank it for like 3 years straight or something, and his face fell apart. So, just saying, I'm all for thorium reactors, but I'm all for not putting them in the supplements. Well, if you're a TIG welder, you might use a rod with thorium in it too. It actually helps for a better weld, but I wouldn't recommend eating it. Just saying.
What's the story where women were putting radioactive like in their lipstick or something like that?
That was for clocks. They were painting the numbers on the
That's right.
clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's trying to remember which substance that is. Yeah, so it was like a paint, and they would lick the brush
Right.
to get the bristles pointy. And yeah, they had the same thing where like in that case it would cause their bones to abscess. It would cause big old openings in the bones, and they'd start falling apart. It's horrible. I
I'm
think that was
guessing there were lawsuits.
radium. I think that was radium.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
See, I'm curious how
T Mach 5 said radium, so it must be right.
I'm curious if we're more nuclear resistant now that we're carnivore. Like, you want to go down to Chernobyl?
Oddly enough, from what I understand, there's actual mushrooms that are absorbing a lot of the radioactive particles that are laying around. It's really weird. Like they test they go out and take samples of stuff, right? And there's all kinds of radioactive debris, right? Because stuff was ejected out of the core and it's kind of sprinkled everywhere. But certain types of fungus actually collect certain radioactive elements and concentrate them. I forget which one it was, but it was something like cesium or something really toxic.
So, well, there you go. We have a use for plants.
Speaking speaking of Chernobyl, have you seen the elephant's foot?
The elephant's foot. I've seen the elephant man, but I don't think I've
That's
seen the elephant's foot.
it's the deadliest object on Earth.
Is it just a chunk of the reactor or
Yeah,
something?
it's like this piece of molten core material that oozed its way through a bunch of concrete and steel and splooged out in a hallway somewhere. And like they could just barely get the robot down there and turn the corner, and then the robot melts. It's just this big kind of blob shaped like an elephant's foot.
Huh. And it's still there because we still can't like mess
Yeah, you
with it or
can't
move it.
you can't get any machinery near it because it just dies. So yeah, so it just sits there.
Huh.
But there's all
Interesting.
kinds of stuff because they used graphite in the core, and of course graphite's pretty lightweight, so that stuff went flying through the air, and people you pick it up. I heard stories about firemen picking it up, throwing it in a trash can, and then 6 hours later they're dying or whatever because it's so radioactive. So messy stuff, that Chernobyl. Let's hope we don't have any more of those other
Um,
old
excuse
reactors.
my squirrely ignorance,
Yeah.
but alien drone services, I don't know what potentiate means exactly. And
I think he's correcting a typo. Omega-6 fatty acids potentiate radiation poisoning. So there you go.
so you just hold it off. So you do become more rad
Yeah.
resistant.
Well, it must it must reduce it to some level. So I don't know anything about that.
Me neither. Hey, good to know. We are in talks with Russia right now, so we might want to stock up on some omega 6.
Yes, and the firemen probably were dying before the seed oils. So, anyways, we wrap this one up. Thanks everybody for chiming in. It was good hearing from
Yeah.
you guys. So, until next time, eat some
To
meat.
me, hit that like button. Make sure you hit that notification bell.
Make sure you're subscribed. When your friends aren't around, make sure you subscribe them. They leave their phone on or the computer on, the tablet open. Just go on there and subscribe them to Meat Mosaic. Especially your boss. Your boss needs to hear from us. So.
I agree. Subscribe to
Yeah,
your boss.
totally.
I subscribed my boss.
So get a cruciferous vegetable and smack that like button.
Got to have a good thing to do with the grains.
Yep. Right. So eat some meat, feel better, and
And
whatever
whatever
you
you
do,
do, do not
don't
touch
fall
the
down
elephant's
the.
foot.
Yeah, right.